The chilling truth is that his story could have been mine, and the tragedy is that my story could have been his.
The other Westmore made headlines as an accomplice to a jewelry store robbery gone bad, during which an off-duty police officer and father of 4 was shot and killed. This Westmore was sentenced to life in prison.
By the time the murder was over here, I was actually living just the ways up here. As I learned more about him through articles that I read, I realized how much more we had in common than just our name. The fact that we were living in the same neighborhood, we were around the same age, we both grew up in single-parent households and had academic and disciplinary troubles growing up. And the more I thought about it, the more I actually wanted to reach out to him. And then I started thinking that there's something larger here, and how do disparities exist where you can have 2 people who have such similar backgrounds and circumstances who end up in 2 completely different places, and what does that mean for all of us?
That was a small bit of youth advocate Wes Moore's story featured in Tom Brokaw's new documentary, Tom Brokaw Presents Bridging the Divide. It's excellent. It premieres this Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on the USA Network. An NBC News special correspondent and the legendary anchor of NBC Nightly News, Mr. Tom Brokaw, thank you for joining us.
We have a legendary anchor coming here as well.
Yes, that explains why I'm nervous. I really want to talk with you about the documentary. I do think it's excellent. I would be remiss in having you here if I did not first get your perspective on the situation in D.C. right now. Is the president's party likely to buck him, do you think, on this tax deal he worked out with Republicans?
My guess is that he'll win. Frank Birch and I were just talking about it on the way out, and I said, Frank, I know you don't engage in sports metaphors, but what's going on with the Democrats in the House is they're trying to put time back on the clock after it's run out on them. The election was a big signal, and that's the reality that the president's trying to deal with here. I think there are a couple of ways that he could frame it. He could say that we're all in this together. This is high risk. We've got to get this economy going again. It bumped up 2 points on unemployment just last week. And as Frank said, Democrats had a couple of years in which they did have the numbers to go after those kinds of issues and didn't get it done. Country wants to get something done. Big signal that, we're going to try to hold the line on taxes and see if we can't refuel the economy. I think it goes beyond that, by the way, Rachel. I was talking about it today. This unemployment and the economic duress that we find ourselves in is systemic. It's not just about freeing up more money to get people to go buy more things. We've got to have more innovation. We've got to have a better skill set among our workers. We've got to compete in a whole variety of ways that just continuing the tax cuts won't do that. So it has to be organic in a way.
Last night I hosted the former chief economist at the IMF, Simon Johnson, about this. I asked him if he was going to be able to put $900 billion toward anything to try to improve the American economy. He said he'd spend it all on teachers and community colleges, because that functions as aid to the states. It is immediate stimulus, and it's what we need.
Well, the community college thing is going to be a larger part of who we all are in the next several years, because that's where people who would normally not go to college could go off to Detroit or other places with a strong back, good pair of work boots, good hands, and find a job. Now they have to have additional skills, and maybe they don't want a 4-year degree, or they're not going to major in electrical engineering, but they're going to get a number of skills if they go to a community college that are necessary for the modern workplace. So I do think we'll be hearing much more about that, and that's a very, very big charge for this country. We've got to raise the level of the education and the skills of the workers who are out there.
And it requires a big investment, which requires difficult politics. Right now, in all of the stories in this documentary that you've done, you examine discrimination, racism, barriers as institutionalized things in the country, the structure of the way that we function as a country. 2 years after the election of our first African-American president, has that had an effect on the structural issues related to race?
To some degree it has, but what's had a bigger impact, obviously, at the moment is the economy. Economic distress is causing a lot of anxieties. People tend to withdraw into their homes and worry more just about where they are in the spectrum of American life. And they acknowledge that in the poll. So we find a little more polarity here than you'd like to see in this country. On the other hand, stepping back, I've been doing this a long time. We've made enormous progress in a lot of areas, but we should try to be a more perfect union constantly. And the difference between now and when the civil rights movement really began 50 years ago, and we timed it to that, is that 50 years ago we were really just worrying about race primarily, and it was too concentrated in the South. We found out shortly after that, with the explosion in the northern urban areas, that there was that kind of segregation going on there as well. This documentary deals not just with race, but it also deals with sexual orientation, physical disabilities, and that kind of thing. And those are the issues that we now have to spend more time thinking about. We have a big section in here, for example, on American Muslims and how they're feeling and whether people would like to have a mosque in their neighborhood. And as a result of all the attention that the mosque near Ground Zero, not at Ground Zero, has gotten, more people than you'd like to see would say, I don't want one in my neighborhood.
One of the things that I found so useful about the documentary is talking about the institutional things that can be done to remedy those different forms of structural discrimination. I think it's eye-opening. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for coming in.
I'm glad to be here.
Nice to see you, Tom.
Okay, great to see you.
Tom Brokaw presents Bridging the Divide, premieres this Friday night at 7 p.m. on the USA Network.